you ready?
All right, it is 6 o'clock. We are calling a meeting to order. We do have a certification of a quorum, barely. But anyways, this time we'll do a pledge of allegiance and invocation. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag.
Pledge allegiance to thee,
Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Heavenly Father, we gather here today seeking your guidance. Bless this meeting, grant us wisdom, and help us to work effectively. Amen.
Amen. Nice prayer.
Setting the tone of the meeting. I like it.
All right. This time, we don't have any public comments, so we're going to move on to item number 5, approval of consent agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
We got a motion, a second. All in favor? Any discussion? Motion passes.
Was it a
But,
four?
did you have a, Mr. Hancock, did you have a question?
No. I
Okay,
was just
he was
looking
just
for something
double
else.
checking.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, motion passes. Now we're moving on to number 6, huh?
Yep, 6.1.
Yep. All right. Consideration, consideration of an action on the 2025 certified property tax roll, taxable value of new property, appraised value of all property, and taxable value of all property.
And staff asked that you accept the 2025 certified property tax roll as outlined above for the 2025 tax year as presented by the Wharton County Chief Appraiser. And the numbers you will find on page 21. These are your taxable values. We marked whether they were under review or not. We're required by law to present this to you. We are confident that these numbers are numbers that we can use towards our budget.
So what happens if we don't approve that?
It's a legal question, I would think.
I mean, what
Yeah.
happens if the CAD does something we don't approve of?
Well, you would reject it and then send it back to them with requested corrections or why we're not,
And then
I guess why we would not, or why we are objecting to it, yeah. And ask them to revalue or reassess or provide.
do we ever
explanation.
do that?
Not that I recall.
We do it
I don't
before
think
you
we've
see
ever
it.
done that.
Before
Yeah,
you
most-
see it, we
that's
work with
true,
them to get those numbers right. In fact, your finance director sent the numbers back with 6 times before we got where we were comfortable with the numbers.
So, and the total values that they've given us for this year are what in relation to last year?
They've increased.
Very much?
No, less than 5%. I can't remember the final number.
It was very minimal.
Yes.
It was like right at 5, I think.
Okay. And do we agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Various construction and
Yes, sir.
demolition or whatever? Okay, thank you.
So the 66 million that's under review, I mean, that could be $0 depending on review, right?
Yeah, typically, the tax assessor uses 92% of that value in our calculation, but it's realistically right at 97% of that number.
And so all the properties that, and maybe you just answered this, but just to appease myself, all the properties that you thought were lacking in years past because they had been constructed and maybe we had missed one or something, you're confident that they're being
Yeah.
assessed correctly?
We feel as good as we can at this point in the process.
Mayor, I move to approve I move to approve the certified property tax roll as presented.
Second.
We got a motion, a second, to approve the 2025 certified property tax roll. All in favor? Any discussion? Motion passes. Item number 2, review and discuss the City of El Campo's proposed budget, the current property tax rate and no new revenue rate, the voter approved rate, and the proposed tax rate for fiscal year 2026, and take action as necessary to direct staff.
Yes, and if action is not needed, you do not have to take action on this particular item. We did add the proposed budget to add, to provide you the opportunity to discuss any potential changes you wanted to see in the proposed budget. We have made modifications since we presented that budget, and that is because we are attempting to balance this budget with the no new revenue rate. As a reminder, that no new revenue rate in the eyes of the state of Texas will not require you to hold a public hearing, nor will you have a special meeting. You will simply, from this point forward, take the record tax vote, set the ceiling at the no new revenue rate, and then later adopt it. If you want to go higher, you will have to do that in an upcoming item. But in an effort to balance this budget with the no new revenue rate, which did increase because of the sales tax decrease, we have made a few changes. We outlined those on page 43 and 44. I'll walk you through them really quickly. We bumped the sales tax up from the year end. That's in line with trend, and that seeing the bottom, we think the worst is behind us. We increased the water and sewer fees to match the proposed increase you saw at the last meeting. We increased the general administrative transfer from the utility fund to the general fund. This number is calculated by using a percentage of time of the administrative staff as well as payroll and HR. This number is tracked. We outline the salaries, the benefits, and then we take a percentage of that. We do the same in the EMS fund. The utility fund franchise fee is being moved, is calculated at 5%, so we updated that. This is something we may want to talk about. Your permitting revenue was increased $127,000 to account for an upcoming permit, namely the school. And the changes that we made in the utility fund are supported by either the rate increase or from reducing that main replacement line item, which we're doing multiple sewer replacements right now in 2026, but we'll use the $145,000 to do what we can, and we feel like we'll be able to bump that number right back up in the following year. And that's how we balanced this budget. Please let us know if you have any heartburn over any of these, so we can use that as you consider your record tax vote in the next item.
I have a lot of questions on this budget. When were we gonna go over it?
We can bring it back and go over it again at the next council meeting. We can spend quite a bit of
Now, the
time.
page 44 or 43 that you were talking about, is
Sure.
that of the budget?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have a little bit of difficulty because I asked for a copy of the budget. It's 146 pages and there are no page numbers on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I'm sorry about that.
But
It's
I
okay.
didn't bother, I've got a lot of questions about it, but I didn't try to put numbers on all of them.
We can address them tonight, or we can address them when you have the full council. It's up to you. However you'd like to address this.
Well, I don't know how we will approve a tax rate without first reviewing the budget. and I
You're
don't
not,
know-
I understand that, Mr. Hancock. Tonight, you're not approving a tax rate. You're just setting a ceiling for it. And so that,
So we can do that without
yes, I mean,
reviewing the budget?
to your point, how can you set a ceiling when you have questions still? So I'll be happy, we can walk through those, or we can wait, your call on that.
Okay, or I can come visit with you or something, but I've got numerous questions.
I would be happy to meet with you, Mr.
Thank you.
Hancock, and we can go
We can
over
do that.
those, and we can bring those back.
So we will not try to approve the budget tonight?
Tonight, you will not be approving the budget. You will simply,
Maybe I misread that.
no, it's okay. We take a record tax vote, and that is all we will be doing tonight. If you would like to set that rate above the no new revenue rate, you will have to indicate that tonight, and then we will schedule a public hearing.
I I think we can go for whatever rate we're trying to go for.
And then
but,
manage your questions
We'll
within it.
manage the budget accordingly, and that can be done, but unless anybody has an objection to putting the cart before the horse.
I understand. Yes, sir. Well, that's the only, if you don't have questions on this, we can,
Oh, yeah, so, sorry.
Okay.
The question I had. Hang on, it's easier for me to find it in my, where it says to support the proposed adjustment general fund, I'm sorry, after county increased fees, the remaining 36.5 needed will be drawn from the main replacement line.
yes.
And then we'll retain over 145,000 to fund to address any unplanned infrastructure. So that 145 plus 36.5 is roughly the 3 pennies that you're asking for?
No,
Do I not understand that last paragraph?
no, I'm sorry, that isn't clear, and I apologize for that. No, the transfer over doesn't cover 3 pennies. That is just to, so the 36.5 plus the 37th, plus the money that you receive from the increased water and sewer rates are used to make the utility fund whole. And the utility fund isn't being used to make the general fund whole. That's not what's happening here. These are just recalculations because of the changes that we've brought through the last 2 weeks. What's making the general fund whole is the no new revenue rate, which is 3 cents higher than the current rate.
Okay, so the items 1 through 5 in here is the changes that we've made as far as revenue goes.
Right.
But we're still to keep the same revenue for next year, given what's happened, and including these changes, we're still 3 cents
Yep,
off from being whole.
that's right.
One quick question, was there, in the, I'll say the challenges that you guys had in order to get to the no new revenue rate as the ceiling, are there any concerns that you have in the upcoming year based on that you feel like you're leaving on the plate that is gonna challenge you in the upcoming year?
Yeah, we absolutely aren't completely confident that the sales tax is gonna increase 3% next year. That's a conservative guess and is in line with what the numbers have done previously, but this year we saw a drop.
Yeah,
And so, projecting it an increase next year, could not play out. It's,
that could cause us a pretty good sized delta there.
yeah,
Potentially, yeah.
and that may be manageable,
Okay,
within the operating budget. It was this year.
right.
And so I think Brittany and I feel that we'll monitor them for the first 3 months. We'll report back to you, and then we'll make adjustments or recalculate as necessary.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
How does that drop compare to 23 and 22
It's an increase,
over those two?
yes. Yeah. No action.
Well, yeah.
Unless you want to keep talking about this, which I do, I'm not trying to push you forward on this.
Well, we're not gonna take no action on this until the rest of the council gets here, and we're gonna see exactly what we need to do and to move forward.
Mr.
And
Hancock,
we're
I'll
gonna
schedule a meeting
direct-
with you.
Hmm?
Yeah,
I'll schedule a meeting with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, I'd like that.
so that is what we'll do.
Yeah,
on
we'll
item
bring,
number
we'll,
2.
we'll bring the
And
proposed
then
budget
we're
back
gonna
on
go
the agenda.
go into item number 3, consideration of the action to take record vote of 2025 proposed tax rate and to approve the notice of public hearing on tax increase for the city of El Campo.
That approved the notice on the tax increase would only be required if you go above the no new revenue rate. Again, we are not asking you to adopt a tax rate tonight. That doesn't happen until September. But you are setting the ceiling. And we ask that you you take the record tax vote for the proposed tax rate of that's the current rate, 49144, and that's the no new revenue rate.
Mayor, I move to set the ceiling of the tax rate at the no new revenue tax rate of 0.49144.
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. Anybody got discussion on that? And I do have a little discussion. Are we sure that 0.49144 is gonna get us through all this? Setting that ceiling at that,
Well, we've built the budget.
around it?
I mean, the changes that we outlined in the last item were made so that that 4911 would support the budget as we've presented it.
Okay.
And your assumptions you made on revenue are not extraordinary assumptions, they're calculated, assumptions that are highly likely, right?
Right, unless council elects to for example, waive the permitting fee for the schools. That would be an example of where we could end up having to reconfigure the budget, or that would be an instance where you would want to build that tax rate a little higher.
Yeah, because that's something you're counting on, right?
Yes.
Understood.
Okay. We got a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, this time. Item number 4, Resolution R 2025-42, awarding professional audit services to Singleton Clark and Company, PC, and authorizes the city manager to execute the professional services agreement.
This is the last finance item of the evening. Thank you, Brittany, for the other 6 items that you presented on this agenda. Resolution 2025-42 awards the professional audit services to Singleton Clark and Company for the next 5 years. We had 5 of us, was it 5 of us that reviewed? Carolyn Gibson, Brittany Nansen, Tori Michon, Renee Garcia, and myself reviewed the proposals. We had 6 proposals. They were somewhat competitive, and all of us selected Singleton Clark as number 1. Furthermore, Brittany reached out to City of Berger and did some reference checking, and they've had great experience. Part of the reason we're recommending Singleton Clark, who is not the lowest bidder, is because in the next budget cycle, if you do not have your audit by March 31st, you will be forced to adopt the no new revenue rate. And that was a legislative change that just occurred. And so it's imperative that we're with a firm that has a great deal of experience with cities and not just counties, and can get us that budget in time. If you'll recall, in the last couple of years, we haven't received the budget by March 31st. And so we believe Singleton Clark and Company can do the best job for that, and that's why we're recommending them.
The only question I have is how did you grade these? I mean, it's interesting to see the number that you gave them.
Oh, sorry, we should have attached the evaluation form.
I'm just curious, is it? I don't want it to be, I mean, it's.
No, it's okay. We did individual evaluations separately, independent of one another, and it rated things. There were, I think, 5 factors. I'm going off. Carolyn, do you mind reading them? You have that in your hand. If you don't mind, I'm sorry. Just
Experience, qualifications of staff, audit approach, and methodologies that overtake I said here at all.
yes.
And proposal cost and references.
And they were weighted the same for each, not for each
Experience was 30.
firm. I meant.
Qualifications 30, audit approach and methodology was 20. Proposal cost was 15, and references were 5.
And this was included in the request for proposals. So we followed the matrix we sent out when we sent out the proposals. The local, I'll say local, KM&L out of Lake Jackson, initially was the only one that responded to the last request. Personally, I felt like Singleton Clark had more experiences with municipalities, and I have a feeling that the other reviewers felt the same, and that's why they scored lower for me, was just the lack of experience with local cities. Well, not just local cities, cities in general. They have a lot of experience with counties, but we're a little different than counties, and we're not on the same schedule they are. So that was important to me.
All right. Do we have, let's see where I'm at here.
Need a motion.
Mayor, I move that we move to support resolution R 2025-42, awarding professional audit services to Singleton Clark and Company, PC, and authorizing the city manager to execute the professional services agreement.
Second.
We got a motion, a second on the floor. All in favor? Motion passes. All right, item number 5, discussion and overview of Code of Ordinances, Chapter 12, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 12.03, Parking.
Good evening, guys. I'm gonna try to go through this pretty high level just to get some feedback. We're bringing this to you because over the last couple of years, we have been given problems and asked to find solutions. And so we often have to find solutions through writing ordinances so that we can solve those problems. And part of those solution processes means that we find ways that these do and don't work. And so right now we have a couple of things related to parking that are not working for us and are challenges for the team to enforce. And so we just kind of want to go through them with y'all so that we can decide if we want to keep the ordinances, if we want to edit the ordinances, or if we want to remove them completely. So this is just an informal discussion, and then later we can bring back something more formal for review. Oh, sorry. Okay, so there's three pieces of this chapter that I want to look at with you guys. The first one's going to be parking of vehicles for sale. It's our most recent one. We adopted this in March of 2025, and it was introduced for discussion as a result of increased instances where we had vehicles parked across town for sale. And it seeks to resolve the issue of having those vehicles and trailers being parked for sale around town at some of the non-auto related properties, but also related in the form that it was for commercial. So there are some examples of pictures here for reference. How it works, and it was written so that cars couldn't be parked privately for sale, and that would be by the owner at a commercial or industrial area, unless the owner has obtained an SUP, and the owner in this case being the property owner. It does allow residences to have vehicles for sale at their property with a maximum of 1 at any given time. We did not have that before. And it does require the vehicle owner and property owner to receive the violation. We would be sending both of them the violation. I noticed in this agenda item, it didn't give you the copy of the draft. It duplicated what I had, so I put those in front of you for reference. You can see what changes we made when we added that section. But some of the challenges we're finding is that there are some businesses that want to do it and some that don't. There's some concerns with the SUP application process and the fees associated with that. Every vehicle does equal a new case, and there's a lot of vehicle turnover, so those vehicles can come and go in a matter of a weekend. And there's a high probability that whoever owns that vehicle will have already sold it before they even get the letter. And then you also have the property owners involved too. So for solutions, we're just looking to see if we want to keep this or edit it and try to enforce it, or if we want to just delete it altogether. Any feedback on this particular one? I'm going to go through each piece one at a time so that we can focus on each of those pieces.
Yeah, I'll give you feedback, and I've had the same stance. You know, you had on there that I moved it, and I did. I'm not opposed to the ordinance. I'm still under the impression that we did this to take care of one big landowner right in the middle of town. We probably could have started with a phone call. I know it's been hard to get a hold of anybody that claims ownership to that deal.
Sure.
I think what I didn't like and what I don't like is, hey, we're doing this, and all of a sudden we say you can't do it, but it's okay because you can come apply. Hey, we want to apply. Okay, fine, but it's going to cost $300. And that stunk. I didn't care for that. And I understand that there's costs associated because we have to put this stuff in the paper in order for it to be an SUP, but had I known the implications of what was going to happen, this could have been one of those deals where we say, hey, look, we're considering this type of enforcement. If you want to keep this, you need to let us know, and maybe we avoid just completely changing everything to being non-conforming and then fining them immediately. What Darrell Hoffer does at Hoffer's doesn't offend me. What, and maybe this is hypocritical. I think that places like Hoffer's is a place where selling a car, and the way he does it, I find it to be fine. But I can understand how, you know, perhaps in front of Dollar Tree, when you just have multiple cars, you don't know who they are. Neither does the landowner. They don't know whose cars they are. You know, that's an issue. I'll start with that. I'm not opposed to it, but I didn't like, you know, I didn't like the idea of, okay, cool, you can have it, but it's, by the way, you know, it's another tax is what it is. That's what the $250 is. And I don't know if there's any way around it, but I didn't like the process.
I think it's gonna be a hard thing to, enforce, that it's gonna cause an uproar in the city, for little gain. That's my opinion. I don't know if, I mean, I'm in agreement on the piece about, you know, when you got a pile of cars over there and you don't know whose they are, you know, that it's incumbent upon the property owner to police that and try to keep that in a good place. For us having to now try to police that or enforce that, it makes it a challenge. You know, we gotta, I don't know how you say be reasonable about it, but that's kind of where I'm at on it. It's a tough deal. I have a hard time keeping it in there when we're gonna be charging people money, and it's just, the process is kind of, I'm with Blake on it a little bit on that piece of it. It makes it creates a bad taste, I guess.
You know,
That's all
my
I got.
thought, I guess, is I certainly don't have a problem with somebody that is in a residence and they have a car they personally own, they want to sell it and put a sign on it
Mhm.
in their driveway or something. I don't see
It should be fine.
a problem with that, or a boat or whatever, you
Yep,
know.
yep.
But maybe if some business is allowing more than one car to be for sale in his parking lot at a time, then maybe he needs to fall into a used car lot category. But and maybe it has something to do with whether or not the business owner owns that car or possesses that. But or if you got a friend that wants to sell his car and put it in front of his office or something, I don't have an issue. I don't see going through everything to get a special use permit just for one car, but I certainly agree with what you say. If there's a bunch of cars out there, if he's got lots of friends that want to put their cars out there in front of his place, then it becomes a bigger issue. Is that kind of how you feel?
Well, I mean, I think it's okay to offer these ancillary services to your customers, you know, at some limited expense, but, you know, again, most of the properties in which there's only one owner, one building, they know every person that's putting that car there. These multi-tenant deals where there's really no policing by the management company, if there is one, the owners, if they are, it just looks like a free-for-all, and I'm okay. You know, I don't know how you legislate that. I don't know how you write an ordinance and say, well, this, you can't do it like this, but you can kind of do it like that. I mean, that's kind of,
I feel like there's always gonna be another angle
There will be.
that it's gonna be hard for you guys to enforce it.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge, I
but the
think.
thing
Well-
is the people that's
Yeah.
gonna be enforced on, the
Yeah.
people that are doing it right are gonna do it right.
Right.
And the person,
Yeah.
and the people that aren't doing it right, they're still gonna have the cars that's after it, whether
Yeah.
we get our money back. is
Right.
The next thing, and so all of a sudden, all the local people are going, we're doing what we're supposed to do, and everybody that never drives by it's not following the rules. What's going on?
So if there's a bunch of cars parked in the HEB parking lot along the street that have for sale signs on them,
That's a single owner. HEB will take care of that immediately. But these multi-tenant places where, you know, you got multiple inhabitants sharing a parking lot, maybe that's.
Well, I see what you're
See what
saying,
I'm
yeah.
saying? I mean,
Yeah, that's where the problem's
That's-
at.
Makes it a challenge.
Is it, are they going to that place? Well, I don't know. Maybe they're going in that place.
Yeah.
Maybe they're eating lunch at this place. You know, so that's,
Well,
that's,
like you said, they might not be doing any business there at all. They're just parking their vehicle there.
well,
So,
I mean,
you know, we've got,
Wouldn't the solution be what Mr. Hancock suggested, is put a limit on the number of cars that you could sell without a
But-
SUP, and then exempt the folks that own the property from their business vehicles?
I mean, I could be for that.
We could,
Yeah.
if the SUP is the issue too, like, we don't have to require that. We could take the SUP out and say a commercial property has to be an auto-related business and they can't have more than two at any given time. If you wanna try to reduce it down that way, I don't know if you feel like that would be less red tape or just kinda
I
take
don't
it
know.
off
We
the
need,
table.
we probably need to review the language of auto-related business and making sure that it's not too
Right.
restrictive.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, because the
And-
pawn shop, I mean, he's in the business of selling used
And
things,
he's got 3 trailers out there usually.
you know, I
so-
mean, and
And
his
Tristan
competitor,
Hughes.
and his
Oh, we-
competitor does it
Yeah.
all the time,
Right.
you know, and so it's really,
But it sounds like we don't wanna take it off the table, we just need to do something with it, right?
Finesse it,
So we
yes.
kinda wanna keep it and, okay. So are we opposed to having, like, just allowing this at auto-related business as an ancillary, as you said? That was a good term for that, instead of all commercial businesses, and then like a maximum of 2 or 3 at any given time?
A maximum of 2.
seems fine with me,
two,
but
yeah.
every instance you showed up there,
They weren't
Some of those are
auto-related.
individual, yeah.
Yeah.
but of the,
The
so,
strip center, we actually, we can't make them do this, but we did get a hold of somebody and asked them to put up signs that say no overnight parking or towing. Cause for, to be a legal tow, you have to have a no parking sign and you have to list where it's being towed to. And so we've asked them to take care of that, and so they've been a little bit more on it, but of course, you know, who knows that, if that'll last long. But there's no way to make them do that, so we didn't get a picture of them because they didn't have any at the time.
Tristan
Well,
Hughes.
I don't know exactly which way we're gonna go, but whichever way we go, it's gonna be hard to control it. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
It's
but-
gonna be tough. We do wanna do it right, and I understand what we're all saying here, but I still see that we're gonna have problems, and it's gonna continue. So, I don't know how to fix it, be honest with you. I don't know how to fix
I
it.
don't think you ought to put something in there that says auto-related business, because now you're gonna have to define auto-related business, and then
Yes.
people are gonna start telling you,
We're gonna
well,
create
I'm an
ourselves a
auto-related
bigger
business.
headache.
Tire
So-
change places, all
Yeah,
those
so
businesses.
I think it needs to say something commercial, no more than 2 at a time, something
Yeah,
like that.
I think you
and,
finagled
know.
it, but you know, I had somebody call me and they were like, well, you know, what if I wanted to sell this in front of my business? And the response is, you
Yeah.
know, I can understand it, but
Right.
at the same time, you know, there's a lot of offices where that's not what you do,
Right.
right? I mean, if you wanna sell a car, you take it
That's
somewhere
true.
else. You're not putting it out in front of the shingle that you hung, saying, I'm selling my car here too now. So there's a little bit high emotions on both
And
sides
if,
of
and
the
of
table.
course,
Yeah.
I mean, you got a couple local used car lots here. Can they work with the used car lot person and say, hey, can I park my car here to see if I can sell it? I mean, they can do that too. I mean, I don't
And
know.
they work a deal.
Maybe work a deal or something. So, you know, hey, go visit with the used car lot guys and see, hey, I wanna park my car here. What's it gonna cost me to have it here for 30 days or however? I mean, I don't know. It's just something I'm throwing out there, so.
You know, another slightly related issue that I've brought up through the years is there's a used car dealership on Old Highway 71 at about First Street or something like that. And besides his own lot, he has his cars on a residential lot across the alley from him. And that may come back to haunt us one of these days too. Somebody may say, I'm selling this, you're letting other people do it, why can't I do it?
Okay, so we're gonna keep that on the table, and we'll start looking at ways we can try to adjust it some more and see if there's anything that we can give you guys that would be a little different. Right now, though, just for the record, we're not out there hunting these things down, until cause we know that it's up in the air and it's up for discussion, and so we're just kind of allowing it to sit and rest while we kind of work through that with you all.
And we like to get the rest of the council here to make
Yes.
sure that we're all on the same page.
Agreed.
Absolutely, we agree. Okay, so the next one we're gonna look at real quick is going to be, is it gonna load? Let's see, oh, there we go. It's really glitching, I'm so sorry.
Is this the one, this is the next?
It should be the one right after that, yeah. I won't touch it. Okay, the next one is the parking of oversized commercial vehicles, trailers, boats, boat trailers, and these are in residential zones. So this is, like your RV parking. When we looked at this initially, we had a complaint about RVs being parked in driveways, and there's nothing that we had to go after it or do anything about it, and so, again, another ordinance was introduced, and so we've had that out there, and we've been kind of trying to work through it. It was adopted through a revision in 2023, and it seeked to resolve the issue of having RVs parked in driveways at residential properties. And it was introduced, as I mentioned, as a result of a complaint by an individual resident to one of our council members. And so there's some pictures of examples here. This is all I could fit on this page. There's hundreds of RVs across town, boats, trailers, you know, your average throwing your junk in your trailer and taking it off, with not necessarily even commercial, they could just be standard trailers. So there's a variety of those all across town. And one of the things, the way that this is supposed to work is that if you have an RV, a boat, or a trailer parked at your residence, it has to be in your side or your backyard. It can't be past the front of the house or in front of the house.
Okay, now let me interrupt you right here.
Sure.
When we passed this ordinance, I asked specifically, what about a corner lot?
Yes, it's
And so
different.
we had a thing where couldn't be in front of a house, but most houses that are on corner lots have the driveway on the side,
Mhm.
not in the front. And I was told, no, it'll cover the corner lot also,
It does.
but it doesn't seem to.
It does, it just looks different because of the layout.
Okay,
And so what this also had was it was an approved parking surface with a curb cut slash driveway. Not that you had to add a driveway or a curb cut, but you just had to you couldn't pop the curb. And so one of the challenges, as you mentioned, it will look different depending on the layout of the parcel, because a corner lot, the front of the house can face two ways, and depending on how that lays out, the driveway is on one way or the other. So when we look at those, we look at where the front door is. And as long as it's not in front of the front of the house, it's on the side, that counts as a side, being in the side or back. So it still looks like it's on the street, but it's technically the side of the house.
but it is on the
so it's
street, and that's
covered.
what I was asking about when we passed the ordinance.
If it's in the street, then it goes.
Not in the street, but the driveway is parked on the driveway,
Right.
and it's not parked in front of the house. But we want to keep it off the driveway, because in most of these situations, the major street going through the area
Mhm.
has the driveway on it, and the trailers and all that are parked along that street in the driveway, not around the side of the house.
Right, if the driveway is on the side of the house, then it is compliant, as long as it's not
That's
sticking
what
out
I'd like
from
to
the
see.
front.
That's what I was asking about, and
Yeah.
I misunderstood that, I guess. But I'd like to see us change this ordinance
Okay,
to include a driveway that's on the side of the house on a corner lot.
to include you're saying that they can't have the RV in their driveway if it's on the side of the house?
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, you go down streets all over town, and wherever there's a corner lot, the driveway's gonna be on the side street. And it's just as offensive to anybody there to have the RV parked on the corner of the house, the side of the house, as it is if it's parked, if the driveway's in front of the house.
Well, I
So,
think,
Are you saying that the RV is sitting on concrete driveway?
Yeah, the RV is sitting on a concrete driveway, but if the front of the house is here and the side of the house is here on the main street and the driveways are here, then we're allowing the vehicles to be parked on that side of the house instead of back behind the line of the setback line of the house.
so the
On a
way
corner lot, you've got the same setback on the side as you have on the front.
on a corner property, if you have the street here and the street here, and this is the front, and that's your house, if your driveway is on the side, you can park it on the side or in the back, but it can't be in front, like you can't pull it up into a circle drive in front of the house. So depending, again, this is part of the problem, right? Depending on how that parcel is laid out, you may not want it there, but the way it's written is it's allowed to be
I'd like to change the
there.
way it's written.
Yeah.
That was my question when we approved it.
Sure,
And
yeah.
I was saying, no, it covers driveways on the corner lots too, and it
And
doesn't
it
seem
allowed it on
to.
the corner, yeah. So some of the other challenges too that we're looking at, so we are a rural community and there's lots and lots of RVs and boats across town, and just regular trailers. There's nowhere for anybody to store these, so if we can work with them to find a way to lay gravel or do something where they can put it behind the front of the house, on the side yard or in the backyard, then we work with them to figure that out. But a lot of times, especially in cases like this, where they're allowed and they're still, there's nowhere for us to tell them to take their, you can't, there's nowhere to store your boat or RV really anywhere locally. And so there's a lot of people who can't come into compliance with this.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
that-
I wouldn't agree with that statement. Maybe it's not convenient to store your property where the easiest place to go is, but, that's, when you become an RV owner, storing it somewhere compliant makes it your responsibility. So I understand you guys shouldn't be in the business saying, well, here's a place to go try. I mean, it should be on them to do it.
I
But to
agree.
say that you can't do it and there's nowhere to go, that's factually false.
Then you're gonna have to put it somewhere
It
else.
just may not be convenient or within their budget.
I mean,
That too.
point is, it does away with our intention, overcomes our intention, when we pass the ordinance to say that, these vehicles have to be out of the, setback area on the house, where you're not, neighbors aren't looking at them, everybody else going down the street's not looking at them. That was our intention. Now, my other thing that I was suggesting was, every place in this 12.03004, where we say RVs, I would like to say RVs or trailers in excess of a 1.5 ton carrying capacity, which we mentioned other places in the ordinance. And because there are any number of situations where people have great big enclosed trailers or big tarp down trailers or whatever sitting in their driveway on major thoroughfares, and they just stay there. And they're just as objectionable as having an RV parked in that driveway. But these big enclosed trailers that are permanently parked in the same spots where you'd normally be out of compliance by parking an RV there are allowed right now. You understand what I'm saying?
Crystal,
There's one on my lane that rubs me wrong all the time because there's 3 trailers there now. One of them's a great big black enclosed trailer, another one has a 4-wheel trailer with a bunch of stuff piled on it and a tarp over it. And then there's a smaller trailer beside that that has a tarp over it. And this particular person started parking this stuff there when he quit parking his 18-wheeler type tractor backed in to the driveway. The driveway's on the side of the house. When he'd fired up at 4 o'clock in the morning with the light shining directly across the street into the neighbor's bedroom, there wasn't anything she could do about it. And when he quit doing that, he started parking the trailers in there. And I have an issue, and that's a commercial activity. He's selling stuff out of those trailers. For about 2 months, he had a secondhand coffin in the driveway on a trailer that he was trying to sell. It's just an offensive kind of.
So,
It stayed there for months.
Reused.
we did get that resolved. Am I understanding that you guys do not want to see trailers of any kind in anyone's driveway at this point?
I think I would like to see some scenarios of, there's some things Mr. Hancock said that I agree with, there's some things I think I don't agree with, to an extent. And so before, I would like to see actual pictures of this is good, but this isn't good.
Okay,
And I hope that that's not a
Yep.
pain to do.
we can do that, that's easy.
But I'm generally in favor of this, where I think where I feel like we could be encroaching is if they're parking it on concrete drives in which they own, we're telling them what part of their property they can't do. Whether or not I like it or not, I just have I'm a little tentative to say you can't do it because I find it
Yeah.
ugly. Now, parking on grass, tires on grass. I mean, there's some other stuff's on my lane. There's a guy parking right at his front door, and he's 15 yards into his house. I mean, I'm not for that.
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to bring up about parking, is parking in the grass in front of your house.
We're gonna do that one next, so I'm gonna pause you.
Okay,
On
but,
that one.
as I say, I would, besides RVs, I would say every place in 004 where it says RVs, I would add, and trailers.
Do you have a length preference that would be easier to because, so I'm gonna be super candid with you guys. I have 2 guys and they're also your building inspectors for new construction and remodels and permits. I do not have the capacity to go after 100+ RVs. So that's gonna be a major, if we go forward with this, just know that it is not gonna happen overnight. So whatever we do has to be manageable, logistically speaking.
I'm starting to wonder what
So
those
is there a
guys,
length?
I'm starting to wonder what those guys do. When I look at your report, your quarterly report that we didn't go over last time, and I see how few cases are filed and how few liens are filed and how many actions are taken, looks to me like we're dealing with mostly yards that need mowing and not the blight issues.
Okay. Well, we can bring that back as another subject and figure out what kind of cases you guys would like us to have. Our guys do have 200 cases at any given time, 100 each, and it's been quite an overhaul. So we're doing the best that we can on those, but I can bring that back.
Crystal, do you know what,
Yes.
what is the, in comparison to other communities
Mhm.
similar in size, what, any kind of ordinances
They
for
don't.
something like that? Does anybody have anything like that?
No.
Just out of curiosity,
I
because,
bet you Fredericksburg and Edna have them.
well, it depends on, I guess, I would say, communities of similar size and tax rate, maybe,
Okay.
something like that, you know, and what that looks like. I don't know. Just something to compare to,
Sure.
because, I mean,
That's
this
reasonable.
could be a sensitive issue as well. You just gotta,
Right.
so if we're gonna do it, we gotta do it in the right light, you know?
And of course, like I said on the last one, I'd like for the rest of the council to be here too to help make these decisions.
Yes, yeah, you're not making decisions tonight at all, this is just to give us some kind of direction. Okay.
Now, let me get one other thing that we skipped over. On the definitions under 12.03.001 on commercial vehicles, you have a number of types of commercial vehicles listed, but I would add, or any vehicle being used for the conducting of a commercial conducting of a commercial enterprise. I mean, as it is right now, you can go into a residential area and park a food truck and operate it out of a driveway and do anything like that you want to. You could have any kind of vehicle parked at a house and be conducting a commercial enterprise out of it.
All right.
Okay, alright, last but not least, discussing vehicles parking in yards. Again, this is a complaint-based problem. We're asked to find a solution. We do not have a solution. Our solution is to write an ordinance, and before we write any more ordinances, we will be bringing them to you guys for discussion and debate, so that I can make sure that what I'm writing for you guys is something that you can stand behind us on, because that is one of the challenges we're having with a lot of these ordinances lately. Some of the details here, again, currently no rules against this. Seeks to resolve the issue of people parking their cars in their front yards in grassy areas that are not otherwise designated parking areas. And again, we're receiving complaints from council about this, and so we're trying to find a solution, and we want to do one that you guys agree with. How it would potentially work is it basically means vehicles would have to be parked in dedicated parking areas or driveways, and we would probably need to require an approved parking surface as a condition. For example, your RV's approved parking condition is per the building official's prerogative. So, for example, in the backyard, if they're on pavers, it's no big deal, but in the front yard, we try to make it look a little nicer. So we may need to think about something like that. Some challenges with this is not all residential properties have dedicated parking areas or driveways. Specifically, your neighborhoods that are on the south end of town do not typically have designated parking areas or actual driveways. They're usually grassy spaces where they park, not necessarily in front of the house either. It's more common in these certain areas of town, so installation of driveways could pose some financial hardships in those areas, where we would be asking them to install something that might increase their tax values and kind of push them out of their communities. This rule would also look really different depending on the layout of the parcel, because again, you have corner lots, reverse corner lots, you have street facing corner lots, and so we would just have to be mindful and understanding that where the driveway goes or where the designated parking area goes is not going to look the same from house to house on the same exact street, so there is no uniform way to do this. We would just have to be open to that. But we're looking for some feedback on what kind of ordinance you would want to see with this, or some things that you would like to take into consideration, so that ultimately we could draft you something to review and kind of research and read through and decide if it's something you want to try to do. But this is, again, is another problem that with a team of two I cannot tackle overnight, so this would have to be something that is kind of an ongoing basis if we decide to pursue it. But is there a desire to pursue anything that prohibits parking in grass? I know we don't like parking in front of houses at the front door. I know that doesn't look great.
It's my opinion that this is the easiest way to make things more presentable. Immediately when there's tires and vehicles in grass, it does not look appealing. That's my initial, and I understand the hardships. Now, I was thinking about it today. There's a bunch of houses built in the 50s that people rent. 50s had 1 car per household, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, right? I mean, our real estate is expensive. And, you know, if you're gonna get rent for what it is, it may take more than one family living under a roof, which is gonna be 4 cars for 5 people. I get it, there's no space. But parking in the grass is not the answer.
which throws up another question for the council at some point, is how do we define a single-family residence?
A single-family residence is a house that has one kitchen, one bathroom, and one separate living or sleeping quarters at minimum.
So family doesn't have anything to do with the definition,
No, it does not.
but we call it a single family.
Yes, because that's the construction term for that at a federal level, so I can't change that definition, unfortunately.
Where this happens is an issue most often is where somebody rents a house and there's 6 or 8 individuals living there and they've each got a vehicle and they're parked all over the front of it.
College towns are prime examples. You know, you're built for 2 moms and a mom and dad and
Yeah,
and 2
okay.
kids, 2 cars max. Well, there's 6 kids living there and they all got trucks. Where do you put them all? And I completely understand it, but I would incentivize you to figure out what you think you can write because,
It's gonna be tough, that's all I can say.
it's,
Look,
you know,
it's
in
gonna be
some-
tough.
In some
You got-
people's houses, their streets isn't the best one to park on. I mean, North Street's a hard street to park on.
That's right.
There's a
Mr.
lot of
Wallace-
streets
Mr.
here in town
Wallace
that are
says,
hard.
though, we can look at what other communities are doing. There's bound to be plenty of other cities that regulate that kind of thing somehow.
This is one that you're going right to the core of the family finances with this one, and it makes it a challenge for people. So I'm not saying that it wouldn't make the community look better if the cars weren't parked on the grass. I'm just curious like you said, there's certain areas that they may not have the area to park in front of their house, so what do they do? They park a block away in somebody else's driveway? You know what I mean? I'm trying to think, put myself in their shoes, what would they do? And I don't know, you know, and that's the part, we just have to think through all that.
We gotta think through all that, and it's gonna be real tough because there's, you got
But their
you know,
neighbors-
larger families that have, you know, teenagers there and everybody's trying to get to school or go to work or whatever, you know. We're talking about a lot of things here and, we're hopefully get to the bottom of it, whatever, but we need to concentrate on a lot of other things also. We got kids walking up and down Wharton Street that we don't even have any school buses. You know, what are we looking at here? We're looking at the right thing? We need to look at other things also, you know. I'm not saying that, you know, not to work on this or whatever. We need to work on everything we do, but there's a lot more important things that we need to be concentrating on. So, and we do need to concentrate on all of it, but we've got priorities too.
To your comment, Kyle, I think that the neighbor is owed just as much in property value preservation as we should feel about what they're going to do with all their vehicles as well. I mean, this is I am for that provision, how it can be worded. I don't know how I don't know.
So I will work on pulling, would you feel more comfortable with me giving you draft examples? I know we talked about examples from other cities, so I could do a report on the RV one and on the grass parking that shows you examples from other cities to look at and tell me what you like and don't like, and we could talk through, and I don't know if Courtney would prefer to do this as a separate workshop, but this is a much longer conversation. But if you guys could give Courtney some direction and feedback on how you want us to present that, I would be more than happy to make arrangements for that.
And think about it, we addressed it with the RV ordinance. We said it has to be, there has to be a driveway for it on the side of the house. And it has to have a curb cut and the whole thing for that driveway. And we defined just exactly where you had to park an RV at a house, and any other kind of parking could fall into the same category. But I agree with what you say. You've got a family there and they've got 2 boys and they've each got a pickup and they can't park one behind the other because somebody's got to get out to go to work in the morning, and there's issues there, I agree.
The town was built long before we thought everybody was gonna have their own car.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, in the 50s, everybody had one vehicle.
1 vehicle per house.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
Mhm.
And it's a tough deal. And maybe that's why some of these bigger, newer cities don't have that problem, because they were built when,
Right.
this was normal. And so they put in construction requirements that required all this space, but we're kind of playing the hand we were dealt.
I guess there's I guess I'll throw out an opinion here, but where this ranks on a priority list is way at the bottom. That's my opinion.
Helpful.
That's So, I mean, it's, everybody's got one, I got an opinion on that, but I'm not saying it couldn't be something, but, you know, that's my thoughts on it, so.
At whatever point it does come back,
Yeah.
I would like drawings and say it, and they didn't have to be real pictures, but good, not good, on the different scenarios.
Okay, I think
Thank you.
that helps us with some direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal,
Thank
for
you.
all the time you spent working to prepare this item. I think it was very helpful, and you provided a lot of good information. And we will be back to bring you more.
All right. Now we're gonna go into, at 6:55, we're going into closed session.
A secondhand coffin.
Second
What signs are you talking
These little stick signs, what are those?
Snipe
about? Oh, yeah.
Snipe, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, it is 7 PM. We're coming out of closed executive session, going in, reconvening. No action to take. This meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
I made it through my practice night, my back has been killing me, so I was in a really bad mood.